Oh, shoot. How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Sunday special stream. Thank you for your patience today. I really do appreciate it. We got Professor Meatball. He's got a little snazzy tie right there. A little tie clip on it. Oh, we have a meme on my screen. Stock exchange being closed on the weekend. Me on one side, GME on the other, listening quietly for us. We do have some news to make sure that you guys get excited and ready for what's going to come on Monday. And I'm really glad that you guys are here. I'm really glad that you guys waited. Let me make sure my camera is okay. There we go. Looks good to me. The reason of me being late, I cannot discuss. However, I think you guys are going to see that's gonna be well worth it in the future. So let me pull up what kind of DD we have to cover today. I was sent from DEJF2 himself, his DD on Melvin's long portfolio, right? It is up 7.62% in Q1 2021. So the supposed 49% Q1 loss must be real bad. So we're not only going to cover that. If you guys have not yet heard about exactly what this means for the end game, hey, this is the news that is being brought to you right now. Throw some scissors in the chat. I really would appreciate that. What's going on? Jessa Bell, Chris Roberts. Jessa, you have not been moderated yet. Let me turn you into a mod. You are now a mod. If you, this is the way it goes. You show up, I see your text, and then I respond. That's the way we do it here. DFW tweet? Okay, let's check that out in just a second. Let me pull that up over here. Roaring Kitty. Okay, so we got that. Let me just make sure that I can actually pull this up in a second. 36 minutes ago, he has a poll that says exercise none, some, or all. Okay, we're going to cover that in just a second. Oh, I do want to be able to do this just in case this is some B-roll you guys wanted to see for later. All right, so here I'm going to take this off of the left screen here. Oh, that's too many screens on the left. There we go. We're not quite ready. Melvin's long portfolio we have here. We have don't let the shills and bots downvote this. And this is really important. This is Jim Cramer talking 10 years ago about illegal activity and condoning it and saying that this is just how the world works. We're going to be able to watch this with you guys live. But first, some B-roll. You guys haven't seen the PropCash affiliate link down below. You should, because this is how I break my microphone. Sorry, guys. Let me do it over here. Meatball, you want to see a trick? Okay, that's as much as we get today. So don't let the shills and bots downvote this. Kramer explains exactly what goes on behind the scenes. It's illegal. He just admitted to it. What happened 10 years ago happens again. And this expects us to settle for $200 a share, right? He's the one that's been floating for one of the solutions to the squeeze to be, they just give us flat money. Right, you have your shares right now. They're worth whatever dollars, and he's like, just give him $200. There we go. Thank you so much for the supers. Ryan Albertson, GME Ape here. Another data scientist? Give love when love is given. Hey, I appreciate that. That really means a lot. And Rich Mr. Krabs with a critical hit super sticker. I appreciate that as well. Explain DFE tweets exercise scenario. I will leave it to the hive mind first to give us a couple of thoughts about what you guys are thinking for the what. Let's look at it. All right. We have Roaring Kitty here saying 38 minutes ago, exercise none, some, or all. So exercising here is likely referring to options, right? But it's definitely not exercise in itself. Not like actual exercise, but it could be thinking about options here. We also have Roaring Kitty with this cat, whatever this is, cats at a bar. This might be a parody of another popular scene that I've never seen before. Anthony Ledoux, welcome to the Special Operations Infantry group of the Mo Monkey Gang. I really do appreciate you hopping on and pressing that join button next to the subscribe button. This is just a casual Sunday where we're talking about exactly what you need to know for the coming Monday. Let's see now. So Melvin Capital has also issued a warning about the dangers of a short squeeze too. So that's something that we will be able to cover as well. His stream is going to be just one that is going to cover these very briefly, right? We're not trying to make it so that you guys are going to read too much stuff that you guys don't want to. I just want to be able to make sure that I'm touching base with you, right? Saying hello. We got Kenny Yu saying hi, my fellow apes. Chris Rakes saying hey Vegas, what's going on? Vegas Chef Andrew. Let's see now. Look at you tossing money around, John W. You should know that I have no money. This is not the Mo Money show. This is the prop money show. This is all fake. I ripped one before on screen, and that I got a couple people riled up. No, we got fake cash here. So Melvin Capital has issued a warning about dangers of short squeeze as well. So these two links are here. I can collect them and show you guys in just a second. But in essence, this is fairly lengthy, but too long didn't read. Melvin Capital has added the risk of a short squeeze and a lot of detail as to how it might happen and effect it might have into their brochure for the first time. They also appear to have received an extra $4 billion since January that hasn't been mentioned elsewhere. So that's something that we'll be able to cover together, right? Because that, like GME, they included informal documentation of exactly how a short squeeze works. So now we actually have both sides of the party, right? GME talking about how the mother of all short squeezes could play out, and Melvin Capital themselves talking about exactly how a short squeeze is going to play out and how can they infect them. It's kind of like in the effect of the Death Star exploding. This is exactly what we are going. This is what's going to happen to the Empire from the Empire's own mouth. So there it is. So we have that. Let's give this a quick brief peeky weeky, as a la Trades would say. We do have Kramer here talking about illegal activity from 10 years ago. And you can tell by the potato footage, this is truly authentic 2010 documentation. So, okay, let's take a look real quick.
Ever seen this?
You know, a lot of times when I was short at my hedge fund and I was positioned short, meaning I needed it down, I would create a level of activity beforehand that could drive the futures. It doesn't take much money. Similarly, if I were long and I would want to make things a little bit rosy, I would go in and take a bunch of stocks and make sure that they're higher. And maybe commit $5 million in capital to do it, and I could affect it. What you're seeing now is it probably is bigger market now. Maybe you need $10 million in capital to knock this stuff down, but it's a fun game and it's a lucrative game, and you can move it up and then fade it. That's often creates a very negative feel. So let's say you take a longer term view intraday, and you say, listen, I'm going to boost the futures, and then when the real sellers come in, real market comes in, they're going to knock it down, and it's going to create a negative view. That's a strategy very worth doing when you're valued on a day-to-day basis. And I would encourage anyone who's in the hedge fund game to do it because it's legal,
right?
And it's a very quick way to make money and very satisfying.
Okay.
Well, by the way, no one else in the world would ever admit that, but I can care.
That's right, and you can say that here.
I can't. I'm not going to say it on TV.
Well, on a related note, there's so many more hedge funds today than when you were managing your hedge fund.
Right.
Do you think that does that exacerbate the moves, or does it make it tougher?
The hedge funds are positioned long short, okay, not just long like mutual funds. So it's really vital these next 6 days because of your payday. You've really got to control the market. You can't let it lift. When you get a research in motion, it's really important to use a lot of your firepower to knock that down because it's the fulcrum of the market today. So let's say I were short. What I would do is I would hit a lot of guys with RIM. Now, you can't foment. That's a violation of
ferment.
Yeah, you can't foment. You can't create yourself an impression that a stock's down. But you do it anyway because the SEC doesn't understand it. So, that's the only sense that I would say this is illegal. But a hedge fund that's not up a lot really has to do a lot now to save itself. So this is different from what I was talking about at the beginning where I would be buying the Qs and stuff. Right. This is actually just blatantly illegal. But when you have 6 days and your company may be in doubt because you're down, I think it's really important to foment. If I were one of these guys, foment an impression that research in motion isn't any good because research in motion is the key today. So, you would hit this guy and that guy when you would see an offering. When you see a guy who's bidding, you'd wipe out that guy very quickly. What I used to do was called, if I wanted to go higher, I would take and bid. And if I wanted to go lower, I'd hit an offer. And I could get a stock like RIM for maybe, that might cost me 15, 20 million, Annie, to knock RIM down. But it would be fabulous because it would beleaguer all the moron longs who are also keying on research in motion. So we're seeing that. That's, again, when your company's in a survival mode, it's really important to defeat research in motion and get the Pisanis of the world and the people talking about it as if there's something wrong with RIM. Then you would call the journal and you get the Bozo report on research in motion and you would feed that there's a Palm's got a killer it's going to give away. These are all the things you must do on a day like today. And if you're not doing it, maybe you shouldn't be in the game.
Okay. Another stock that a lot of people are focused on right now seems to be Apple.
Yeah, Apple's very important to spread the rumor that that both Verizon and AT&T have decided they don't like the phone.
Right.
It's a very easy one to do because it's also...
Okay, we're going to finish this in just a second, but I want to make it clear that, wow, he has fermented, for sure. I'm not sure about fomenting, but he certainly has fermented over the past year. You guys in live chat, you guys got it right. You guys, he's admitting to illegal activity. No one else would admit this in the world, but I would. I would totally make it clear to everyone in the world that I do illegal activity. This is crazy. So he's talking about 6 days, and this is T+6. In my opinion, he's talking about either a short ladder attack or a counterfeit short, because this is a failure to deliver. He's talking in like vague enough terms about the tactics that these hedge funds use. However, he is making a pretty compelling case that this is nothing if not ordinary criminal business. So let me just take a look in the live chat and see what you guys are thinking of. But geez, okay, we are going to cover this again during the Monday live stream when everyone is here, right? But those of you watching this on the Sunday and actually seeing Jim Cramer talk about, because I suppose he has the loudest, no hairpiece, but mouthpiece for the criminal underbelly. Because at this rate, I mean, there's honest and then there's criminal. Like, you can't just say like I was just pretending or I'm just conjecturing. You know, he's talking about it. He's talking about exactly what kind of manipulation tactics it takes to, and I think he said it, wipe out a company. Wipe out a company. This is not like vague enough to point the cannon somewhere else. No, this is very clear that this is a tactics to be able to short a company out of existence. So at the very least, this should provide two different effects. One is that it should cement the idea that, you know, someone said in the live chat, he's not just confessing, he's bragging. Right? This isn't a confession. This is just brag money from Mr. Jim Cramer. But at the same time, this should give you guys a sense that this is business as usual for them, but this time around it might be different. We've been talking to a lot of different authors of DD, Congress people, of policymakers, that this is a brand new development. That we have seen GME pique the interest of people in impressive positions. And this is why we can gather up behind it. Because of these hot cam videos, it's not hot cam, I think it's just the person who is recording on their iPhone zooming in and out of Jim Cramer's face. But it definitely does add to the pressure that Jim is going to be behind. I wonder if he's going to comment on this. I would love to see a breakdown of exactly what he thinks is going to explain this confession. Like, it's embarrassing in my opinion. So let's, once again, I mentioned in the beginning of this is that we do have, can I get the other left? Nope, they're both cropped out. We did have the author DEJF2. His name is also Dave. He was a whistleblower for the SEC. He filed a formal SEC investigation with his DD, and you can find that video and even support his SEC like investigatory claim through that DD. But we've had him on the show once, right? He was the one with a not super great microphone, but he did have great things to say. And he just sent over I think it was yesterday, his DD from a day ago, where Melvin's long portfolio speaks volumes about exactly where Melvin is. We see on Reuters that hedge fund Melvin Capital lost 49% on its investments in Q1, right? So Melvin Capital, the hedge fund at the center of the GameStop trading frenzy, lost 49% on its investments during the first 3 months of 2021, a person familiar with the matter said on Friday. All right, so this gives us a sense of how officially bad it is. However, then we have to now dig behind and say, okay, well, what does this actually imply based on the official reports. So DEJF2, or Dave, I'm going to call him from now on, said, of course, whether that's true or not remains to be seen, but I have just spent half an hour inputting stock price changes into Melvin's portfolio, and if it's true, it's real bad. So for the period ending in 31st of December, he reports the SEC a portfolio value of $22 billion across 77 positions, opening 5 new ones and closing 36 positions. So Mr. Melvin sold a lot of profitable calls and stock at the start of this and previous quarter at first glance. So if you guys wanted to look through these spreadsheets yourselves, feel free to. I'm going to include all of this in the description after the stream is over. Zoom in real quick, right? So the 31st of December value versus the 31st of March value, that's a rise of 7.5%. So Mr. Plotkin posted a 7.5% or a $1.5 billion profit in long positions. So we know that he lost money on all of his positions, but with the positions that were up, we have $1.5 billion of profit in his long positions. So therefore, we do now have a better understanding of exactly what his short positions, especially with the ones with GameStop, have now, the implications of it. So now you guys have a better scoop. Thanks to Dave. Thank you, Dave, for sending this DD my way, and so that you guys can see it as well. So 49% of Mr. Plotkin's long portfolio would be $10 billion loss. $10 billion loss so far, Gabe. So find more long read DDs in his profile. Yes, for sure. Send this DD some love here. I'm going to give it an upvote. Okay, let me see. So I'm going to go through and, hey, I'm going to check out some of your questions here. We have, let's see now. Ars Umbris says he's bragging about crime because he knows it's so common no one is going to jail for bragging. That's the trouble with this whole situation. Crazy. I want a BTS sandwich says people in power do what they want. The consequences fall on someone else, or they take a small hit to the wallet and move on with their agenda. Now, this is the reason why half of this movement is specifically based around being able to say revolution, right? Revolution is part of the equation here. Meatball. Have you guys seen his little tie? He has a little tie clip here. That's the Sunday's best right there. Okay. Jaden Ghani says, these deep fakes are a trip. Never thought I'd see Peter Griffin display more illegal activity. Okay, so let me just check it here. What will Melvin pay us with after the other 51% is gone? So I do have a video about who will pay, and I haven't released that quite yet. So that video was from a live stream where someone else asked that very specific question themselves. And they said, so who is going to pay for the squeeze? Well, it goes hedge funds themselves, then the clearinghouses, then the clearinghouses cartel, which is the DTC. And then the DTC doesn't want to pay right now. So they actually want to press down hard on the other hedge funds that are innocent. So now we actually have, this is actually a brand new board that I have to cover here, because now the DTC just went down to Narnia real quick to retrieve my pen. Now the DTC actually would like different people to pay than usual. So we have the hedge funds here. So let's call them Melvins, because these are the Melvins, the people who actually have short positions on GME. So we have Melvins first, and then it goes down to the clearinghouses. This is the group. This is the order of operations of who actually pays. So I'm just gonna say people with money. So clearinghouses here. Whoa, you guys can read that. And then it goes down to the DTC, who is like this cartel of different hedge funds and clearinghouses. And then the DTC says, actually, you know what? I don't want to pay. Right now, this is the point of Rule 003 is to look at people who are guilty and then be able to separate them from the guilty and the non-guilty, and then pass on the risk to the innocent hedge funds as well, the ones that aren't Melvins. So this actually DTC passes it back down to, let's call them, what's the opposite of Melvin? I'm just going to say Melvin backwards. The Nivlems. So it passes it back to the Nivlems, which is the same idea when Austin was here on the show when we talked about OCC 801. It essentially allows us to point fingers at members of the family that aren't, risky uncles. We have risky uncles up here. that have a gambling problem, right? Melvin has a big bet and they're about to lose. We've already seen them lose upwards of our calculation here, right? $10 billion. So they are going to then have to go here and then here. And actually the DTC goes to the Uncle Sam, so US government. Like always, might have to bail out the squeeze. However, right now, the DTC wants to bring this back up to the innocent hedge funds and say everyone's on the hook. So you better be careful. Right now, that incentivizes hedge funds that might be innocent to actually allow for a little bit of snitching, right? Snitches get stitches unless you're a member of the DTC, in which case you do want to rat out your friends who have been risky uncles this whole time. All right, so there's one more DD that I want to make sure that you guys have for the day, and it's, which one is it? Hold on a sec. Oh, here it is. So they want you to know about the 49% loss. Do not trust it. Okay, so this is going to be some controversial DD for sure. Eugenius is probably already know this, but he's going to have to say it for the crayon eating apes sitting in the back of the bus. We used to work in media PR for a major outlet. The only way we'd all know about their 49% loss is if the hedge funds told us and want us to know. That's it. They want us to know. There's no way we'd know. There's no other way we'd know. We'd need to release it and write it to send out to media outlets at specific times to get it published. There's no other way. So this is actually a really good, like, slow your roll. There's a lot of really positive catalysts that I actually need to summarize. So let's summarize them real quick. There are some really positive catalysts that is not reflected in GME's price movements in the last few days. However, we understand that RC is going to be the new chair. That happened earlier last week. So RC is the chair. That's the first piece of positive catalyst. And then the second one is OCC 801. Right, this is a brand new rule that allows us to, at the very least for the options market, sorry for the glare, RC is chair, and then for the options market, this allows this only gives like the people in the DTC, the members, a little bit more like of a minimum requirement for the amount of money that they have on hand in order to prepare for the funeral of some risky uncles. Essentially, this makes it clearer that the risk is going to be disseminated between other members of the DTC, which I just explained. And then we have now Melvin's 49% dip. So these three positive pieces of catalyst that we are looking at here is something that we can point to and then bemoan together when GME's volume continues to stay below 10 million. However, as of right now, these are the three to mainly pay attention to. As a reminder, I'm not sure if I fully agree that the only reason we would know about this 49% loss is that if they want us to, because as of right now, that it's news that would have come out if they didn't want us to anyway. So in my opinion, it could lead either way. Either way, it's the truth. It's the truth because currently Reuters is an unbiased platform that allows us to know the truth. So that's one of the ways to be able to keep in mind that we have positive catalysts coming for the day. And specifically for Ryan Cohen's sake, we now even have a date, June 9th, and we hate dates on this platform. So don't take that as a squeeze potential date, but do remember that Ryan Cohen is now going to be able to have a more vocal role when he's actually the director, the chairperson of the board of directors. I want to be able to so someone emailed me this. So Blaze Media says economists predict super bubble market crash is coming soon. I want to be able to, with a huge grain of salt, be able to scroll through this real quick to see if there's some validity in it, because I do like when Mo Monkeys send out their, whoa, my face. I do like it when the Moon Platoon does their own research and would like me to cover some of this. Justin Feld. Could the DTC keep prices low to let Melvin cover their shorts? And would that explain the 49% loss in the 4-to-1 buy-sell ratio? DTC has no actual power. You have no power here. The DTC has no power to control the markets. They're here just to move a lot of money around, right? You need money, DTC gotcha. They're a bank for a bank. The purse strings for the purse strings. So in essence, DTC is actually on our side because they're trying to Okay, let me explain it in an analogy. If you think the DTC is going to somehow pull some strings and make it easier for Melvin and friends to cover, why are they trying to pin the risk on Melvin's friends, the innocent hedge funds, if they thought that they could manipulate the price, right? You don't look for a fire escape if you already have a perfectly fine elevator. So they are building an elevator right now, and I don't think they're going to be using the fire escape anytime soon. Vegas Chef Andrew, new chair, new marker, new hair, new, everything new. Blaze Media, let's take a look. Who is this person? Economist and best-selling author Harry Dent. But can we trust him? Harry Dent. He falls asleep. Can we trust him? He joined Glenn Beck on the radio program Friday to talk about what he believes is coming soon for our financial markets. Central banks set interest rates. They drive bonds and interest rates down. They drive stocks up continually and run the market like a machine, he explained. This is what's caused this great bubble and a great disconnect. The reason that this Nostradamus level of, hey, we are going to have a bubble soon is because you are essentially writing a prediction that is impossible to prove as false until it actually happens. You can just say it's coming eventually, it's coming soon. And I would agree to an extent, right? Even Austin and I have had long philosophical conversations about hyperinflation and about how specific parts of history might repeat itself, like Weimar Germany and other things. But as of right now, I don't think this is new news. Let's see if he actually has any thoughts. No, just gonna have to watch this video to find out. Well, I appreciate the Mo Monkey that sent this video over, and I will include this in the description if anybody is curious as well. So we didn't actually finish this video, so there's about a minute and a half, actually 2 minutes left in the video, so we will go back to it in a second after I read a couple more of your comments. And once again, remember, this is going to be a really quick live stream to be able to prep you guys for Monday. If you guys have any questions, that's why I'm like being live and answering them right now. Let's see. What kind of questions we got? Share recount. If you guys have not watched that video, remember, it is still an ongoing story. Right, so it's not clear if GME is going to confirm the share recount, but however, documents have started to support that. So at the very least, it doesn't cost anything to call your broker. That is one of the first and most important things you should be able to do this coming Monday. Hold on, I'm just going through your questions here. Oh yeah, Trey. He has the AMC CEO coming on his show. He was even talking about getting ready for it. We can't talk about what it's going to be about, so hush. But that's a really cool event that is coming out soon. Very cool. Gorillas in the chat for Trey. You guys got that? Gorillas in the chat for Trey. Happy Sun Trey. Sunday Sun Trey. Let's see. Yeah, Vegas Chef Andrew says, seems like the bots and shells have the weekend off. This chat is filled with love. Thank you, guys. No, I do appreciate it. Those are gorillas in the chat that are currently going through. Those are for you as well. I do appreciate being able to fill the atmosphere, the air, with this kind of positivity. So I suppose we are going to watch the end of this clip, and then I'll check once more for questions. But if there aren't any, I'm expecting you guys to have a fantabulous weekend, starting at 6 a.m. again, right? 6 a.m. PST every day. You guys better be here sharp. And if you guys aren't here sharp, I'll forgive you. So let's look at Mr. Jim Cramer talk more about criminal stuff.
You want to spread the rumor that it's not going to be ready for Macworld. And this is very easy because the people who write about Apple want that story. And you can claim that it's credible because you spoke to someone at Apple, because Apple isn't, and it doesn't.
Right, they're not going to comment. They're not going to say.
So it's really an ideal short. And I would, again, if I were short Apple, I would be working very hard today to get that. And the way you would do that is you pick up the phone, you call 6 Trading Desk, and you say, listen, I just got off the phone with my contact at Verizon. And he has already said, listen, we're a Lucky G house. We're a Samsung house. We're a Motorola house. There's no room for Apple. They want too much. We're not going to let them in. We're not going to let them do what they did to music. And, I think that's a very effective way to keep a stock down.
Right.
I might also, by the way, because the stock at 84, 85, a little bit of capital, you go buy some January 80 puts that makes it look like there's going to be something going on. So maybe you give Morgan an order to buy 1,000 Jan 80 puts, then you go position limit with you use a hat firm that doesn't know what the heck it's doing. Maybe you go to UBS for puts. And you just kind of create an image that there's going to be news next week, and that's going to frighten everybody.
Right.
Then they all go out and say large put buyer UBS. Then they call Pisani again. You have to use those guys and say, listen, I see a big buyer of puts, and I'm told that it's SAC. You would do that too. And these are all what's really going on under the market that you don't see.
Right, and nobody else talks about
it. Right, but what's important when you're in that hedge fund mode is to not do anything remotely truthful. Because the truth is so against your view that it's important to create a new truth to develop a fiction. And the fiction is developed by almost anybody who's down like 2% to up 6% here. You can't take any chances. You can't have the market up any more than it is if you're up 6. Because starting Jan 2, you'll have all your money come out. So what would you do if you're in that situation and you feel like you're desperate? Is that you would do these actions.
So you're talking about the mechanics of the market.
Well, the mechanics are much more important than the fundamentals.
Oh, okay. Well, but in terms of the fundamentals, you've been writing about how you think
about the fundamentals. Research in Motion just blew out the quarter.
Right.
But look what people can do. I mean, that's a fabulous thing. It's a great thing about...
Okay, hold on. There's 10 seconds left, but before I forget my train of thought, he just said that the stock market is completely disconnected from the fundamentals. There's some truth to that, but he's just saying it as if it's complete fact. And then he just said the best thing that if you were a hedge fund, the best thing is to avoid everything fundamentally true, right? You have to basically live in a perfectly fabricated world. What? Okay, first of all, why is this person's brain so disconnected? Like, I feel like every single thing he says is just in a completely different, tangent. But the second thing is, this is the same person that a lot of people take financial advice from, right? At the very least, financial, education from. And he's teaching a completely disconnected view of the world, or perhaps it's perfectly connected. Perhaps this is exactly how hedge funds work. So this is dangerous as well as very telling. I think people who've shrugged this off as this is just how media is, I don't think so. I think this is actually a completely this is wrong. This shouldn't be our normal, in my opinion. I feel like a Jim Cramer might just be a canary in the coal mine. I feel like at this rate, we can learn so much more from him than if we want to hardball him. Jim, if you're watching this, again, we've had Dr. Pippa Malmgren, advisor to the White House. We have had Congressman Ro Khanna on the show before. If you want to come on, I believe the last offer is still valid. Let me just check the coupon. Yes, it's still valid. So go ahead and make sure that, Jim, you do come on the show if you do have time. Once again, we're not going to allow him to drive the conversation. You're going to be answering our questions. And that, RGME didn't want you, but now nobody is truly that happy with RGME. So in that sense, I think there's some opportunity right there. Gosh. Okay, let's see the last 10 seconds while my brain wraps around what he just said.
About the market, this has nothing to do with the actual stocks.
Right.
Now, look, over maybe 2 weeks from now, the buyers will come to their senses and realize that everything that they heard was a lie. But then again, Fannie Mae lied about their earnings for $6 billion. So,
right,
it's just fiction and fiction and fiction. And I think
it's just fiction and fiction and fiction. So thank you, whoever has this T-Mobile iPhone for recording this video on their phone. And that's the kind of takeaway that you should have for your Sunday, is that this video, some of you in the live chat have said, is not new. It's been making its rounds, but now it's made its rounds all the way to the top of Superstonk and RGME, right? This is the end of something big. This cycle of manipulation, this cycle of being proud of getting away with something that shouldn't happen, right? He's talked about wiping companies out. He talked about if you're not happy with something, go to somewhere else, right? Just pick and choose the pieces of the market that you want to eat. And at the end of the day, this just be telling on people who, remember, there's always 3 groups of people that are actually interested in the squeeze. People who like GME, which you should be interested in what Jim just said. People who want to make a lot of money. And if you do, you should understand the market just as Jim Mr. Kramer just said. And finally, people who want this to be an Occupy Wall Street movement number 2, in which case you 100% need to understand that Jim may not be on your side, but he certainly is essentially giving us the art of war for the other side. And if you guys were skeptical, I know some of you were like tenting your fingers right now and saying, of course, this is everything we've known so far. No, I don't think so. I think that this is something that you would have to share with a person who is skeptical about the squeeze and about the prospects that we have as a Moon Platoon, as space apes in general, that you don't know. You have no idea if the manipulation that we have theorized and the speculative math that we need to do in order to find out about short information, because there's not enough data democratization, all of these pieces, we don't know if it's valid until someone like Jim actually speaks it into existence. Because, once again, a lot of what he said might be speculation, but a lot of it is going to be rooted in a much larger audience to do the sniff test of whether or not it's actually something that holds water in the financial world. Okay, so some of you said that you did ask questions, so let me actually take a look here. Prediction for GME tomorrow, please. What do you think about call options expires on 16th? Remember, I cannot give you financial advice. However, hold on a second, what? Oh, call option expires. So that's something that we've looked at in terms of deep in the money calls, right? Calls that have mimicked Roaring Kitties calls. So that must be what the tweet is about. Did the Hive? I beat you to it. Did the Hive Mind already talked about this? This is what the tweet is about. His calls are expiring. So this is his tweet from an hour ago. Let's see. So he's asking us if he should exercise his calls. Everyone, well, I voted for the right one. Everyone, 66% of them are saying that you should exercise all his calls. They would expire worthless anyway. And they're much deeper. I don't know why you wouldn't exercise all calls. So he's talking about his deep in the money calls. Well, back then it wasn't deep in the money, but he has some pretty attractive 16 expiry calls. And that is why he is asking. Is this okay? He can't give other people financial advice, but can he elicit financial advice from other people? Roaring Kitty, we just want you to be safe, so I'm not sure if I just participated in a like closed loop of financial advice giving on the internet. So remember, we are not coordinated. We are apes. We live in our own bubbles. This is why we are the non-manipulators in this story, right? The mainstream media continues to try and label us as predators, label us as wacky kids. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, if you are abiding by the rules, just buying and holding, if you wanted to, right? Which rule have you broken? So at the very end, when this actually takes off, you have to be around the right side of history. So be careful. Do not tell your friends or family to do anything, because don't coordinate. Don't make it clear that you are trying to sway someone, right? This channel has always been about financial education, right? And right now we are giving you guys a little bit of an update on GME, but tomorrow it doesn't have to be GME. It just has to be financial education and building up whatever you need to learn from the ground up. Okay, let me see if I can see some more of these questions here. Okay, I'm just reading it. Hold on a sec. George Carlin. Oh yeah, it's a big club and you ain't in it. You see, the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Oh, George Carlin. Oh man. Trey needs to show this to Adam. It would be great if 5 minutes of their I'm assuming 20-30 minute conversation is going to be just just Jim Cramer's 5 minutes, and then Adam Aaron's like, Trey, I really like that you showed me this video. What people should actually see if they were interested in movies is Black Widow playing exclusively in AMC theaters and then on Disney Plus, is my Adam Aaron impression. No, he's more charismatic than me. Okay, let's see. Chuck Norris says, Jim Cramer is able to tell the world how hedgies really work. The effed up world of money above all else. Yeah, that's our canary right there. You don't have to like him. He just is telling us a little bit of information that we would have to either speculate or be impossible to verify ourselves. Okay, hold on. I wish I could read faster. I'm just going through your live chat. Is this just a new Jim Cramer show business? No, this is old. This is an old footage. This is old footage, but it's bubbling up, and it's quite telling for the time. Let's see now. Okay, some of your questions I cannot answer. Jandon Bone says, Citadel was praised for shorting many companies before COVID hit. They had connection to know what was coming and got rich off of it. They deserve to lose it all. Now that's some poetry. Where did you immigrate from, or already born in North Americas? Says AT Real Dino 666. I voted in the last 2 elections. I'm a U.S. citizen, but I did immigrate from a different country. And if you watch the different live streams, you'll be able to find out which country. Vote now on your phones. Let's see. If DFE exercises all its calls, how would that affect the share price for GME? Well, as of right now, those shares have already been bought and hedged by whoever sold him those contracts. So if you guys remember the gamma squeeze or the delta hedging in general, you have, actually this is a great point. For those of you who did not watch religiously my videos 24/7, I should just remember that sometimes it's not enough to just refer to a concept. Let's say that you want to bet on a stock. Let's say that, like, in retrospect, we know the price of the stock is going to go like this, right? It's hard to bet whether or not the stock is going to do whatever we think it's going to do. However, I would let's say that right now all we can see is this much time. All of the time in the future has not happened yet. However, we would like to bet that GME is going to hit this price, right? Let's say this is $200 by this deadline. So then we make this invisible line here. This is the expiry date, and this is the strike price. All that said is basically saying I believe that GME is going to hit $200 by a specific date, right? The closer the price of the stock gets to that price, the more the person that sold you this contract needs to actually hedge and buy the stock ahead of time. Let's say that the price of the stock, this is actually a good way to figure this out. Let's say that this is the price of the stock right now. It's at $100 out of $200. $200 is the strike price. You want it to be $200 in order to be in the money. In that case, the thermometer, it's going to be a little more complicated than this, of how many stocks of the 100 that this hedge fund or the institution that sold you this contract needs to buy is proportional, right? Proportional in some way. The calculation is a little bit more complicated, but maybe they have 50%, because this is 50% of the way up to 200. So maybe they have 50 stocks. And then as the price of the stock goes up and down, they have to buy more. When it goes all the way up to 200, they have to buy all of it. Supposedly, in this hypothetical situation, right? They might have to buy all 100 stocks because it's 100 stocks per contract. So since the price of the stock has been way above Roaring Kitty's strike price, we can assume that all of these shares have already been bought. So it's not going to cost more. It's not going to cause more buying pressure, and that's not going to cause more upwards price action. So that is at the end of the day, a decision that Roaring Kitty can make for his own benefit and make some mad money, because he would then have more than his 100,000 shares if he has the capital to exercise, right? Or he could just sell them. So that might be the question of exercise none, exercise some, or exercise all. Instead of exercising, he might just sell the contract to someone else. Okay, let me see if I can look through your questions here. Jim should buy new hair. Okay. I've shared my position many times. Just go back to like the last like 3 or 4 live streams. Someone's talking about being born in Oregon, but they love San Diego. I think San Diego is pretty perfect too. Ron P says, when they go bankrupt, what happens to everyone still holding their options? When the hedge funds go bankrupt, they still have to satisfy that obligation. The only time they don't have, you might be confusing this with shorting a stock to bankruptcy, and then there's no obligation to give you the stock back because the stock doesn't exist anymore. But when they go bankrupt, then it passes down. Just zoom back like maybe 10, 20 minutes, and I described the chain of order of operations of who actually pays. And then if you still don't want to do that, I'm coming out with a video about that in just a second. So that's coming out just soon enough. So we've been going for almost an hour, and I'm wondering if I should continue. Okay, in that sense, we are going to finish up for the day. Hope you guys had a good live stream. Go ahead and go back to the first part if you guys haven't seen all of it. I do want to say that I am going to today or tomorrow update this screen. If you guys haven't had a chance to press that join button next to the subscribe button, this is the day that I'm going to update the screen, and you might be showing up on the screen for the rest of the week. So that's a pretty cool opportunity. If you guys like this show, hey, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm hopefully going to go bell to bell if AT&T, if my Wi-Fi allows it. And then we will see you guys from the beginning of the market open all the way through the actions of the market. You guys can come and pitch non-GME AMC ticker symbols. And if you guys had any other questions, I will be there live, so you will have the opportunity to ask me then as well. And then people are asking, like, how do we know if options have been covered? You can basically bet that they have, because having a naked option way past the strike price is very risky. It's an infinite downside, right? So you don't want to be in that position as a hedge fund. So basically any deep in the money strike price is going to be covered already. Let's see now. What's the deal with convertible bonds? So Austin has been doing more research over the weekend. If you guys haven't seen that video, that's the most recent one that was posted about Austin talking about convertible bonds. He needed to spend some time with his family this weekend. So we'll dig up more about it tomorrow onwards. I think he might come on tomorrow. Let's see now. So the 500 million shares with GME are going to Ryan Cohen. Is that going to be June 9th? When is the chairman of the board? I believe his share vesting is independent of like him being the chairman of the board. I believe that vesting schedule was already dictated when he owned like a huge portion of the shares and was going to join the company in some other way. What a chill stream, says Soapy Pop. I agree. Hunter DeGeneres. Is your name actually DeGeneres? What if a GameStop made a fintech app to really gamify finance? Do you think this could be a feasible route for them to leverage the situation? I think that they have to be a bank first. I think they have to have capital, because that sounds like I don't know. That sounds fun. Pitch me the idea, and then I'll pitch it to Ryan Cohen. Well, remember, we tweeted at him to come on the show. Let's see if he actually responds. Let's see. Oh, I have a super from MK. Hold on. Ron P. What did MK say? Can someone repeat what MK just said? Unfortunately, my stream viewer activity won't be able to go back that far. If you are MK and I missed your super, I'm so sorry, but come on the live stream tomorrow and I'll answer that question. Release the apes tomorrow morning, says Ethan Jr. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Mods, and thanks, Meatball, for you adorable fuzzy boy. I agree. Well, I hope you guys had a great stream. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And for now, but not for forever, I will see you in the money. Peace.